Hey guys, how are you doing? We are in the filming editing phase of most of Disney Plus Day because I will be honest, personal things have been happening behind the scenes and I just didn't have enough time to edit. And I only have so much daylight to use, and my lighting in my house is horrific. So, that being said, we are on it today. There will be a lot of videos because I have prepped them, except for the editing part. Blah, blah, blah part. Alright, so, Home Sweet Home Alone. I'm going to do this in 2 parts. Both in this video, so this will be a little bit longer. The first part will be my review. The second part will be the Easter eggs and hidden Mickeys, because there are several. And I thought it would be fitting to do this in front of my tree, because why the heck not? It's been a crazy 2 years, and not only because of the anniversary, it's the 2nd anniversary of Disney Plus, which, hallelujah, I love Disney Plus, but also because we're in this panini and we need joy in our lives, okay? We need kindness, we need joy, we need to just celebrate the moments that we have fun with and family and whatever you like to do. Alright, so that being said, my review of this movie. This is the 6th Home Alone in the series. Yeah, I said 6. Now, most of you will probably know the first 3. You know, we had Kevin, we had Max, and then there were 2 prior. I will be honest with you, Home Alone 4 and Home Alone 5, which they go by different names, they didn't do anything for me. I'll be honest with you. It felt very forced. The first 3 were honestly the best, even though they switched kids, so it was no longer Kevin, it was Max, but totally good, still good. All right. However, now that I think about it, that was a clever Easter egg. Didn't even think about that as I was watching the movie. I'm like, oh, what? All right, so I was worried about this film because I didn't want it to feel forced. How are they going to link it to the first, at least the original Home Alone, right? And that's where I was concerned, because they were kind of hyping it up a little bit, but not so much. And there have been commercials with I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher his name. I always do. Michaela Culkin, whatever his name is, the kid who, the guy who originally played Kevin. I honestly love his work. As a kid, I loved his films. And then he did some stuff with Mark Robber, who is a YouTuber, and they created a cool thing. Michaela McCulkin has his own company. He's a new dad, so congratulations if he ever watches this, but congratulations. And so I was really hoping to see him back on screen, especially having a role that is vital into a series that got him really his start. Was he in the film? No, he wasn't. But there are Easter eggs to him, so that's fair enough. They did link it, and they linked it in a very semi-subtle, that's not that subtle, somewhat subtle, you gotta kind of catch it, way, but it was cute. It wasn't like in your face, but there was a good enough scene that explained it. I shouldn't say just one scene. There's a couple, but there's one major one where it explained the whole thing. And I thought that was great. All right. So that being said, I watched it all. I laughed. I cried. I recommend. I highly recommend. If you've seen the others, you think they're appropriate for your kids, this is no less that. Honestly, some of the same moves, Easter eggs, but some of the same moves. Just understand that your kids should not take this on, okay? This is a full-on warning. Kids, if you're watching my review, please do not booby trap your house. call 911 and lock yourself in and hide, okay? Just do that. And parents, do not leave your kids at home. Oh, you can see my cat. Do not leave your kids at home. I swear, even if I'm, like, I just went downstairs for 5 minutes, I'm like, dude, like, I'll be right back. I will be right back. And as soon as I came back into the main part of the house, I told him, hey, bud, I'm back. I will never forget my kid. Now, granted, I only have one, so it makes life a little bit easier on that aspect. I've taken care of, literally on road trips, 9 kids by myself, okay? That's a whole other story. I loved it. I miss it. I love my cousins, my nephews, and my nieces, but whoo-wee, I was constantly counting. Now, that may be because I love the Home Alone series and I grew up with it, but as a parent and as a responsible adult, I just felt like they hate me for it. Why are you always counting? We're all here. And I'm like, I needed to always just make sure that you're all just here. So yeah, that's my review. Now let's get into the Easter eggs because there were quite a lot. There were quite a lot. They were good. They were honestly good. Home Sweet Home Alone. So this is the main house that we're talking about. This is not the house they break into, but the balloons do form Hidden Mickey. So in this picture, there's an Easter egg to Home Alone 2 with the Empire State Building. And then Maxwell, is watching Wild E. Coyote and Roadrunner, but also Maxwell, Max for short, is a reference to Home Alone 3 when the kid's name was Max. Then we have a classic Hidden Mickey in the fruit bowl. This one is a reference slightly to Toy Story 2, as well as Toy Story of Toys of Terror, where the toys are being sold online on eBay. Here we have Max reading his sister's diary, which is very much like when Kevin read Buzz's diary back in the first one. Of course, Max has tons of Legos. I mean, what kid really doesn't? But here we see the London Bridge. They are from England originally, Max and his family. So it's an interesting reference. Just saying. This Easter egg is to Abbey Road, which is a Beatles album, and they had the same walk, and they're from England, so another reference on that. We have Max doing a green screen moment, and in the background is the Midwest, which there aren't that many Disney films set in the Midwest, but there are quite a few, enough that cute little reference, very simply done. And then we have a Casey Jr., which was a train that was animated by Disney. He was featured in Dumbo, but Disney became obsessed with trains due to Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson, who are 2 of Disney's 9 old men, the animators. So this is on the animated films. But of course, they tend to have Casey Jr. in a few different films as Easter eggs. Then we have this reference to James Bond, but there was also a reference by the brother that was staying over, and he said the remakes are not always as good as the originals. And I honestly had to laugh because this is obviously a Home Alone remake, and I was like, ooh, you digging some dirt in there, huh? That's a weird reference, but whatever. Anyway, that was such a chef kiss moment, referencing the fact that this was actually a remake. Now, when I talked about my review, I said, how are they going to link this film to the originals? Well, here it is. McAllister, this cop, is Buzz McAllister, Kevin's brother. Now, there was another scene where this cop, McAllister, was in his car. He gets the call that there's a kid home alone, and he states there's two things that are important about that scene. This comes later, but that's okay. We're skipping forward for a moment. He mentions, one, the home alarm system is McAllister. So Kevin actually created the alarm system that this particular family uses. The second thing that he mentions, and to note, is that every year Kevin plays a prank on Buzz by calling in that there is a kid home alone. And he says he does this yearly. And so that is why the cop doesn't exactly return, because he thinks that this is just Kevin doing his Kevin thing. And it's very fishy that this particular home has the McAllister alarm system. Now, you may think that I just gave a lot of information about that. It really isn't. There's a lot more to this, but that is the particular link, and it was a genius moment. Genius. All right, now here's quite obvious. If you all know, Lucasfilms is now owned by Disney. Disney is the parent company. And therefore, Star Wars, as we know by Disney Plus, is part of the it's not part of the franchise. It's a franchise of itself under the Disney name. So, Max has Star Wars sheets. Hey now, didn't I all tell you that every film is linked in some way or another? That all of these universes link up some way? Well, there's a little link for you. Now, the next set of pictures reference things that happen in the original film. From the church to the manger, right, when Kevin hid in the manger at one point, to how Kevin in the original films prepped the house to beat the bad guys. Now, granted, this couple isn't actually bad. There was a lot of confusion, but Maxwell does create booby traps to stop them. And he uses a lot of the same tactics that Kevin used in the first film. And here we have a little quick Easter egg on the table out of food. A final hidden Mickey on the wreath from the mistletoe. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We are doing a giveaway the 15th, which is Monday, to the 21st. I will have something every single day over on our Facebook page. We will likely do a live once or twice that week. I haven't exactly planned out the dates yet, which I should probably go do. But I have a lot more videos, so the next month and a half is a lot. There's a lot coming. And I'm trying to plan out 2022, and there's just so much. But I just want to remind you guys, I'm not going to be posting as much as I am like the next 2 months as I will in 2022, except for certain times a year, because it's a lot going, like a lot. And I'm trying to balance it out, so we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. All right, that being said, I hope you stay tuned. I have some more Easter egg videos coming for you guys very, very shortly.